Well, the NBA, of course, in action today as well. And the San Antonio Spurs did an interesting thing. Oh, by the way, the completed game today, New York beating Phoenix 106-99. Well, they should have done that every day of the week. But anyway, an interesting point of view here from the Spurs. And is it smart season management? Is it bad for the fans? Commissioner Stern didn't like it. Joining us on the line right now, the editor of Pounding the Rock, of course, SB Nation's Spurs blog, is JR Wilco. As we talk about what happened with the Spurs resting, well, the big guys and sending them back home. JR's with us on the line right now. G'day, mate. How are you?
G'day. I'm doing great, thanks.
Now, this is an interesting one because they come up against, we'll just paint the picture for everyone who doesn't know. So they come up there and there were two games in Florida that got the main part of this, but of course they're the end of the story. But they played against Orlando, who aren't very good, and they had the big boys out there, and of course they beat up Orlando. And then they stuck them on a plane and sent them home while the rest of the team went down to play the Miami Heat. Now, JR, I mean, you follow the Spurs a lot. I mean, is this a regular thing for them?
It is. And that's why Stern's response is so weird. Not only is it a regular thing, but the deputy director, David Silver, last year actually commented on it and said, hey, it's the coach's prerogative. I'm not one to second-guess, Greg Popovich is one of the greatest coaches of all time, blah, blah, blah. And they did it 3 times last year, actually, and did it even previously in the year before. They're just getting more blatant about it, frankly. Everybody rests stars, okay? But not everybody puts old as the reason why they're resting someone. Generally, that's what Popovich did last year. They had a D&D, or a did not dress. D&D-old was listed next to Duncan last year, I think in a game against Utah, as in the official game log, in the box score of the game. That's probably where this is coming from. They're just getting more and more blatant about it. Other teams do this. They just say, oh, he's got a tight hamstring, or he's got back spasms. We're just going to give him the night off. But they don't come out and just admit that the reason why is to rest the players so they'd be better off.
Right. So, it was a long road trip. But I guess you know about the schedule early on, so I imagine that they planned this quite early. Do you think that really what upset David Stern was that it was a national TV game? I mean, do you think that made a difference, particularly up against here in New Zealand, it's one of the games that we would probably see. We're not going to see the Milwaukee Bucks play the Golden State Warriors, thank God. But we are likely to see like a Spurs against a Heat, and I mean we're only a tiny market. But if this is going out to Europe and places like that where you've got a whole lot of people that might do that, do you think that added to David Stern's is that what pissed him off?
Absolutely, that's what it was. And there are so many things going on. There's so many confluences about this particular one. It was the last game of the road set. It was against the Heat. It was nationally televised. It was TNT. So it's one that would be primarily seen in the rest of the nations that carry NBA games, not just the United States. So it's a big deal in the U.S. And also, when you look at all the games, there's 2,100 some odd games in the entire NBA season. 30 teams playing 82 games each, but there are only 120 games that are nationally televised. Now that national television contract accounts for $939 million to the NBA. Okay, I mean. All these numbers are off the top of my head, so my apologies if I'm wrong, but it's a huge deal on those 121 games. And one of those 121 games just happened to be the Spurs against the Heat. And this is the thing. The Heat are on national television all the time. The Spurs are on when they reach those marquee matchups. But the Spurs have the best record in the West last 2 years running, but they only seem to be on national television when they're up against another big team. And the question is do they not bring in the ratings because NBA doesn't market them like everybody else, or do they not bring in the ratings because people don't care about the Spurs? They've been relevant for so long. Well, Boston's been relevant forever, and they seem to be able to market them. So anyway, this is one of those things where there's so many things going on. It's hard to say it's hard to say why did Pop choose this game. I have my own theory about that if you want to hear it.
Yeah, go for it. Tell us.
All right. So here's the thing. Pop and the way that he has chosen the games that he rests his stars is all about maximizing wins, okay? So you can say, of course they beat up on Orlando. Of course they beat up on the Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards hadn't even won a game by the time they met. And this entire road trip, as it happened, wasn't just the Spurs running over teams. The Toronto Raptors are no world beaters this year, and that went to double overtime to win that game, okay? So the Spurs are playing without Kawhi Leonard. They're playing without Steven Jackson. They don't have any of their starting small forwards. And so you can't walk into an average NBA game and call it a win. So what Pop is doing, what he's done in the past, is he's set these games up to maximize wins. Any game that is a probable, or that you can look on the game, look on the schedule before anybody plays anything, go, that's going to be a real tough game to win. Those are the games he's more than likely to sit his guys for. This one was at the end of a road trip. This one was against the Miami Heat, and we're playing without two of our best players in Leonard and Jackson. So we were looking at this game as one that we were wondering whether he would play everybody for anyway. And when you come up to a game like that, the very next game being against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a division opponent, who would they've got the best record in the West right now. We're behind them by one game, and those guys are a massively bad matchup for the Spurs. They match up just such a tough team for the Spurs to beat. And when you have that game next against a division opponent, it's going to be a big deal for that team to have a tiebreaker over you, and you come back home after them after playing everybody and playing up against the Heat. Really, what he was doing was he was maximizing wins. He played his starters early through the road trip, took the Miami game off, sent them home early because, well, honestly, there's no real rest for you if you're coming home 3 a.m. the day before you play Grizzlies. I mean, you've got to send them home if you're going to get that full rest. So, and that's when the team was getting home. So you maximize the wins in front. You give up the game that would be a tough win for you anyway, and then you come back to a division opponent. The game means more. They're in the Western Conference, and they're in the division. Now you get that win in overtime last night, which honestly pretty much, it validates the entire strategy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's not. It's a tactic that you will see quite often in World Cups of sports. I mean, we in New Zealand, we're the world champs at rugby right now. And in the pool play, we actually found ourselves coming against some of those other sides thinking, well, we're not going to beat the All Blacks, so we'll just, we'll send out rest our good players until we get through the next game against a pool opponent we believe we can beat. And that happens. But I think it happens in soccer World Cups as well. I guess, sides do that. So, and I suppose it's just to see it in a regular season is quite different. But then, the NBA regular season is just so long. Another thing is can when the draw comes out and it's obviously that the Spurs have come through here and had a look and they've gone, well, we're going to be on this road trip and like you said, this one here we're going to get back at 3 a.m. before we play. Is there any opportunity that you know of where franchises can actually, challenge the draw or question the draw or point out, hang on, that's really crap for us?
None whatsoever.
That's weird.
There is the league schedule, and then there is griping about it. There's nothing in between. You take it and you play your game and you're done. And yeah, it's a long season. It's 82 games. It's over 7 months, especially once you get into the playoffs. There's another, American sport in Major League Baseball that has, way more games, and those guys take games off all the time. So it's not. The stars are what makes any game, and if you don't have those stars playing, obviously it's not going to be as big of a marquee deal. But the Spurs played the Heat all the way to the end of the game. It was in doubt up until the last shot. With 20 seconds left, whether or not they would tie the game and send it overtime. They were leading through much of it until the Heat really put on the defense at the end of the fourth quarter. So, yes, it wasn't the marquee deal, but it was a great and entertaining game as a result. Whether as many people watched it is up in the air.
Yeah. Well, okay, JR, thank you very much for your time. Folks, if you're a Spurs man, and I know that our man John Day out here, our daily newsreader, he's a huge Spurs fan, so he'll know about this. SB Nation Spurs blog is pounding the rock. JR, thanks very much for your time, mate, and clearing that up. Love your theory, too. Yeah, I think you're being on with that one. And anyway, as it happens, folks, the Heat had a hell of a hard time beating that Spurs team, and then it went all right when they got home, so Pop turned out to be right. Hey, good on you, JR.
Good on you. Hey, thanks for calling me, and also just wanted to pump a couple of my pieces real quick. I did a Declaration of Spurs Independence piece.
Brilliant.
That I wrote about this, and also took Mark Antony's speech from Julius Caesar and wrote it to David Stern from the Spurs after the fine. So go on to Pounding the Rock and check those out.
Good on you. There we are. Hey, look, it's your Live Sport Breakfast here. This is Major League Monday, and we're going to chuck an NBA into the multi later on. It's my team up against the Lakers, and the Lakers are going to smash us. But that's okay, because Dwight Howard might get technicaled, and we'll all laugh. What we're going to do when we come back is talk a bit of college football. I'm so pleased I get to talk about the Aggies. And Kate Heropoulos is going to join us next up. College sports writer for the Dallas Morning.